Welcome to Mindful Leadership, Transforming Lives, with your host, Singh. This is where leadership meets purpose, presence, and passion. In today's fast paced, high pressure world, we face a leadership crisis. Too often, teams are led by managers who lack empathy, clarity, and vision, leaving individuals uninspired, disconnected, and undervalued. But it doesn't have to be this way. Great leadership isn't born, it's built. The end game: empower your leadership, inspire the world. Every week, join me, your host Singh, as we tackle the gaps in leadership and life coaching head on, learning how mindfulness, emotional intelligence, and compassion can redefine success. This isn't just another podcast, it's a mission to fill the void left by ineffective leadership. And it's not just about leadership in business. Life coaching for leaders and new executives is at heart of this journey. Ready to rise above the noise and lead with clarity, purpose, and impact? Join a global movement dedicated to reshaping the future of leadership one mindful moment at a time. Let's begin.
All right, let's get real. Are you the fixer, the hero, the avoider, the chameleon, or the overachiever? See, burnout isn't always dramatic. Sometimes it's sneaky. It hides in overcommitting, people pleasing, or saying yes to all things except the one thing that actually matters. Here's the thing: burnout starts when your purpose gets blurry. And let me guess, you are busy, driven, and you love making an impact, but somewhere along the way, you have found yourself stuck in a cycle of exhaustion, frustration, and you keep asking, why am I working so hard, but still feel so off? Welcome back to another episode of Mindful Leadership Transforming Lives on the Transformation Network. I am your host, Singh. Today, we are diving into the 5 burnout archetypes, hidden patterns that show up in purpose driven leaders like you. I will help you figure out which one you are, how misalignment might be showing up in your leadership, and most importantly, how to fix it. Because burnout isn't a productivity problem, it's a purpose problem. And no, the solution isn't another productivity app or a calendar hack. It's clarity, it's alignment. And that's what we are doing today. So let's begin. Let's reframe burnout for a second. Burnout doesn't happen just because you're doing too much. It happens when you're doing the wrong things or doing the right things for the wrong reasons. You know, those days when you crush 18 things on your to do list, but when your head hits the pillow, you still feel stuck. That's not about effort, that's about alignment. And here's the kicker: you can't hustle your way out of burnout. No amount of productivity hacks or late night grind sessions will fix a problem leak. What will? Awareness. Awareness is your first step towards breaking the burnout cycle. And that's where these burnout archetypes come in. So, as I go through each archetype, I want you to listen for yourself. Spot the patterns that resonate and don't judge yourself. This isn't about criticism, it's about clarity. And clarity is where your power begins. Remember, I have been saying this from day one. Mindfulness starts with becoming an observer so that we can have clarity on what we observed and how we can fix it. So that is segue into the first archetype, the fixer. So the first archetype fixer are like the duct tape of dysfunctional teams. You see a problem and your brain goes, I can handle it. Coworker missed a deadline, you are on it. Friends relationship drama, you're heading out, advice like your Dr. Phil. And look, I get fixers are heroes in their own way. You are the one people, the one person that people count on, the one who's always ready to swoop in and save the day. But here's the problem: fixers often take on problems that aren't theirs to solve. And while you're busy putting out everyone else's fire, your own priorities are quietly burning on the ground. So, how to spot a fixer? Here are two telltale signs, and see if one of these resonates with you. One, you're constantly busy, but it feels like you're not moving forward. You have got 100 tabs open in your brain, but none of them are about you and what you need to do. Second, secretly resent people you're helping. You're thinking, do they even realize how much I'm doing for them? Spoiler alert, no, they probably don't. So, fixers, for you, here's the truth. You're not just solving problems, you're carrying extra weight that isn't yours to carry. And while you're busy being the superhero, you are letting down your own mission collector. So, here's the good news. You don't have to stop being a fixer, you just need to recalibrate. And let me break down three simple steps. First, pause and ask yourself, is this my problem to solve? Seriously, stop for a second. Not every fire needs your water. Some of them are just campfires. They'll burn out on their own. Second, if it is not your problem, delegate it or let it go. I know this is easier said than done, but delegating doesn't mean you are weak, it means you are a leader. And third, reconnect with your purpose by asking, what is one thing I can focus on today that moves me closer to my goals? Because here's the thing, fixers are incredibly good at problem solving. But to lead with impact, you need to focus on that energy for what truly matters to you. So let me give you an example. I work with a leader who was ultimate fixer. If someone on their team was struggling, he would jump in and do the work themselves. But guess what happened? Their team stopped stepping up because they knew the fixer would always handle. So it worked on this exact process, pausing, delegating, refocusing, and not only did they reduce their stress, but their team actually became more competent. See, it's funny how that works. Fixers, you are the glue that holds a lot of things together, hands down. But you're not a roll of duct tape. Real leadership isn't about fixing everything, it's about aligning your energy with what matters most. So, next time you feel the urge to jump and save the day, remember to pause, reflect, and ask yourself, is this mine to fix? Because sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is step back and let others step up. All right. So, the second archetype I'm going to talk about is hero. And you know who you are. Heroes aren't the ones wearing capes in Marvel movies. They are the ones in your office, your family, or maybe staring back at you in the mirror, constantly swooping in to save the day. Now, here's the hero's mindset and the problem to begin with. If I don't do it, nobody else will. Sounds familiar? See, heroes thrive on high stake projects, big opportunities, and the chance to prove themselves. But guess what? That mindset is also a fast track to burnout. The problem, heroism without boundaries turns into martyrdom. You go from being the go to person to the can't say no person, and before you know it, you're drowning in responsibilities while everyone else is coasting along, sipping with their third latte of the day. So, how to spot you are a hero? Again, two key things. First, the red flag. You're always the first to volunteer, even when your plate is already overflowing. Your calendar is in full. It's a Jenga tower ready to collapse. Second, you thrive on recognition, but deep down, you feel invisible or unappreciated. It's that bittersweet moment. You're doing all the things, but no one seems to notice how hard you're working. So let's be honest, heroes. You're not just rescuing situations, you are overcommitting yourself into oblivion. Now, again, I'm asking you not to stop being amazing. I'm asking you to set some boundaries so you can keep being amazing without turning into a puddle of exhaustion. And here's how to recalibrate your hero energy. Number one, shift from quantity to quality. Just because you can do something doesn't mean you should. The next time someone asks you for help, pause and ask yourself, is this the best use of my time, my energy, and skills? Second big one, practice saying no. even when the opportunity sounds exciting. I know. Again, I'm saying no feels like kryptonite for a hero, but here's the deal. Every time you say yes to something that doesn't align with your purpose, you are saying no to something that does mean something different, valuable for you. And third, ask yourself, does this align with my bigger purpose, or am I just chasing validation? Heroes, let's be real here, okay? You guys love the gold stars, but gold stars won't keep you aligned with your purpose. They will just keep you spinning in circles. So I worked with someone who was ultimate hero at work. Again, they were a top performer, the first to volunteer for every new project, but they were also exhausted, frustrated, and ready to quit. So we worked on shifting their focus. What can I do to what should I do? They started saying no to low impact tasks and yes to ones that aligned with their long term goals. And guess what? Not only did their stress go down, but their impact went up. Heroes, you are incredible. You have the passion, the drive, and the skills to make it huge impact. But let me remind you, you're not here to save the world at expense of yourself. True leadership isn't about saying yes to everything, it's about saying yes to what truly matters. And I'll keep repeating this throughout this episode. So the next time you feel that pull to jump in and rescue, pause for a moment and ask yourself, is this my opportunity or just another distraction? Because here's the truth, the world doesn't need a burnt out hero, it needs purposeful ones. All right. The third, let's talk about avoider. If you are someone who's perpetually busy but not actually getting anything real done, congratulations. You might just be Michael Jordan of avoidance. Avoiders are masters of busy work. Your calendar is packed, your to do list is miles long, but those big important tasks, yeah, they just keep getting bumped to tomorrow, the next day, and then the next day, and then the next day. And before you know it, you are recognizing your soft draw instead of preparing for your presentation. But here's the thing, avoidance isn't laziness, it is fear in disguise. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of discomfort. It's like telling yourself, I will start that big thing once I clean my desk. But you are suddenly deep cleaning your baseboards because apparently your career depends on spotless grout lines. So, again, two red flags to identify and spot and avoid a mindset. First, you're constantly working on low impact tasks. You're color coding your notes, but the report that's due tomorrow haven't even started. Sounds familiar? And second, you feel stuck, but you're not sure how to move forward. It's like you are in a quicksand. You're moving, but you're definitely not going anywhere. So, avoiders, let me tell you this, you are not alone and you are not broken. You are just overwhelmed. You are running from discomfort instead of facing it. So, while avoidance feels safe in the moment, it is a short term fix that creates long term stress. And here is two simple steps to break the cycle. One, start small. Pick one high priority task, the one that's been staring you down, and commit to work on it just 10 minutes. That's it. No pressure to finish it. Just start. Why? Because action beats overthinking every single time. And second, reconnect with the purpose. Ask yourself, what is one action I can take today that aligns with what I truly want? Now, when you focus on purpose instead of perfection, it's easier to push through the fear. One of my clients, a brilliant entrepreneur, was stuck in this avoidance mode, spending hours tweaking their website font instead of pitching to investors. Why? Because pitching felt scary, it was vulnerable. But once they committed to a 10-minute start on their pitch deck, momentum kicked in. They weren't just avoiding anymore, they were moving. And that movement led to confidence, clarity, and yes, of course, funding. So, avoiders, here is the truth for you. You're not lazy, you're human. Avoidance in your brain's way of protecting your discomfort. But here's the thing, discomfort is where growth lies. So next time you catch yourself avoiding that big task, remember this: you don't have to tackle the whole mountain. Just take the first step. Whether it's 10 minutes, one email, or even one sentence, progress beats perfection every single time. Because leadership doesn't come from avoiding, it comes from aligning. And you have it. You just have to work on it. The next one is an interesting one. We name it chameleon, the shape shifter, right? Shape shifter of burnout archetypes. So these are peacekeepers, the people pleasers, the ones who can blend into any room, adapt to any situation, and make everyone else comfortable except themselves. So if you are a chameleon, you are the person saying, sure, I would love to take on that extra project, while instead your brain is screaming, I didn't even have time to eat lunch today. So here's the problem: you trade authenticity for approval. You're so focused on meeting everyone else's expectation that you lose touch with your own. And after a while, you don't just feel invisible to others, you feel invisible to yourself. Now, we are going to fix that. Let's break it down. How do you know if you're a chameleon? Two red flags again. One, you say yes when you really want to say no. You are the person getting roped into a weekend committee meeting when all you want was to binge and watch Netflix and eat tacos. Second, you avoid conflict, even when it means sacrificing your values. It is easier to nod along and keep the peace, right? But every time you do, a little piece of your authenticity disappears. So, chameleons, here's the truth for you: people admire you for how adaptable you are. But let's face it, if you're constantly adapting to everyone else, no one really knows the real you, including yourself. So, here is how you stop blending in and start showing up as your authentic self. One, practice saying no. And I don't mean that half hearted. Let me think about it. I mean a firm, confident no, thank you. It is not selfish, it is self respect. Start small. Say no to something low stakes, like an invite to a meeting that could be on an email, something like that. Second, reflect on your purpose. Ask yourself, am I living for others or myself? This is not about you. What matters to you is what is important to you. And here's a quick example. Once I worked with this guy, ultimate yes person, their boss, coworker, even their neighbors, dock workers, all of them had their number on speed dial. But miserable, right? Why? Because they never prioritize their own goals. So we worked on two things: saying no and reconnecting with purpose. They started setting boundaries. And guess what? Not only did they feel lighter, but people actually respected them more. So here is what I want you to remember: your authenticity is your superpower. When you stop disappearing into background and start owning who you are, that's when magic happens. So next time you feel the urge to say yes, just to keep the peace and pause, ask yourself, is this what I truly want? Or am I just avoiding another conflict? Because the goal is not to fit into the room. It is to walk into the rooms that align with your purpose and be fully yourself. And trust me, the world needs that version of you. And then let's talk about overachievers, including me. You know who you are. You are the person who crushes a big goal at 4 p.m. and by 4:05 p.m. is already planning the next one. Overachievers are impressive. I'm not saying just because I am that. I used to be that. They get stuff done. But here's the catch: overachievers tie their entire self worth to their accomplishments. It's like you're playing an endless game of whack a mole, except every time you hit one milestone, three more pops up. And you're like, well, I guess I will just keep going. So let's dive into the two classical signs that you might be an overachiever. One, you accomplish a lot, but it never feels like enough. I know it better than anyone. You're climbing the ladder, but instead of enjoying the view, you're already eyeing the next rung. Second, you feel guilty when resting. Netflix, nope. Naps, forget it. Even on vacation, you're checking emails and making to do lists. Rest feels like a betrayal of your productivity. And here's the thing, overachievers aren't just climbing mountains, they're climbing mountains that don't have a summit. And let me tell you, that's the fastest way to burn out. I have been there. Because the goal is not to stop being ambitious, it is to stop letting your ambition run you into the ground, right? So redefine success. Instead of asking yourself, what did I accomplish today? Try asking, how aligned was I today? Did the work you did today move you closer to your purpose? Or were you just crossing things off a list? See, alignment beats accomplishment any day because it actually means something. And second, schedule breaks. Not because you have earned them, but because you need them. And yes, I know how hard this is for us overachievers. You're probably thinking, if I'm not grinding, I'm not doing enough. But let me remind you, you're not a machine. And yes, even machines need to power down or else they overheat. I've been there once, maxed out, uh, built a widely successful business, leading a team, and still felt that they weren't doing enough. So, my turning point when I started scheduling guilt free, non negotiable time off every week. And guess what? Not only did I feel better, I was actually improved. My work actually improved, right? Rest is not a reward, it's a leadership tool. Overachievers, let me you with this. Your worth is not tied to your productivity. Let me say it again back to you. Your worth is not tied to your productivity. You can climb all the mountains you want, but if you're not aligned with your purpose, you will never feel satisfied. So instead of asking what's next, ask what matters. And most importantly, give yourself permission to rest. Because here is the truth. Sometimes the most productive thing you can do is to do nothing at all. All right. Before we wrap up, let's talk about this session that we just did. We This was the fifth session of the set Purpose as a Compass. Because if you have made it this far, you have been on one heck of a ride. The set was all about helping you reconnect with what drives you at your core, and that's your purpose. Leadership without purpose is like trying to drive cross country with Google Maps stuck in offline mode. You're moving, but are you heading the right way in the right direction? In episode one, What's Driving You or Draining You, we kicked off by talking about burnout and misalignment. Turns out burnout is not about working too much, it's about working on wrong things. The key frameworks we covered: natural advantage and origin strength with alignment. Then in the next episode, we talked about you're not lazy, you are mismatched, busted the myth of laziness. If you feel stuck, it's not you, it's the role you are in. We talked about aligning your pull passion, what energizes you, with your market role, where you add value for financial gains. Then we went into the origin story as your superpower. Your leadership is not about your wins, is it is about what you are overcoming, how you are overcoming your challenges. They are not baggage, they are your origin story. And then in the next episode, we talked about your compass not being broken, just buried. We discussed most people don't like purpose. You have the purpose, but they just can't see it under all the noise. And we introduced the inner compass journey: purpose, clarity, confidence. And then today, we covered burnout is not one size fits all. Whether you're a fixer, hero, avoider, chameleon, or overachiever, we went through the tools to align with your purpose and break the burnout cycle. Now, let's be honest. This set was not about frameworks and tools. It was about you realizing that purpose is not this mystical thing you have to find. It is already in you. You just have to stop running around like a squirrel on espresso long enough to see it. And here's the kicker: purpose is just not about what you do, it is about why you do it. Because when you lead with purpose, you stop chasing and you start creating impact. And honestly, is it not what it is all about? Creating impact and not just chasing success? Purpose factor assessment is available for everyone to take. And just to bring back the definition of purpose, what is the best you have in you to give to others to help? What is the best that you have in you to give it to others? And the fulfillment that comes on the other side is when you get gratitude from people that you have helped. You get grace when you see them growing, or it is your own financial growth. Now, burnout happens when one, either you're not working on your purpose, so there is no fulfillment, there is no excitement, right? And you're not getting fulfilled because you can give the best thing, but if you're not growing financially, you cannot continue to pour out of your own cup. You have to make sure that your cup is getting full too. So, as we close out this set, let me leave you with one question: am I working hard, or are you working aligned? If your answer is aligned, congratulations, you're already on your way to leading with purpose. But if your answer is hard, or maybe even exhausted, it's time to pause, reflect, and reconnect with your purpose factor. Because here is the truth: when you are aligned, you are unstoppable. And when you're not, well, no amount of grind will get you where you really want to go. If this set resonated with you, let's keep the momentum going. DM me purpose on LinkedIn, or grab your free purpose clarity tool, which is that Sing Leadership link. Take the purpose factor assessment or book a live micro workshop to map out your circle, compass circle. And don't forget, leadership does not come from doing more. Leadership does not come from doing more. It comes from doing what matters the most. And purpose is not just your compass, it should be your fuel. You're listening to your host saying on Mindful Leadership, Transforming Life on the Transformation Network, and I will see you in the next set. Have a great day.
Thank you for watching Mindful Leadership Transforming Lives. With me, your host, Singh. We are honored to have you join us on this journey to explore the transformative power of mindfulness, emotional intelligence, and authentic leadership. Tune in every week on transformationtalkradio.com at noon Pacific on Tuesdays, where we will continue to explore how mindful leadership can create a ripple effect of positive changes in your life and lives of those you influence. This show is dedicated to helping you lead with purpose, presence, and passion. Whether you're navigating the complexities of business, building strong connection with your team, or striving to make a meaningful impact in the world around you. To learn more about the show, access additional resources, or dive deeper, visit singpowerupcoach.com. Remember, leadership isn't just about what you do, it's about who you are. Let's continue to transform lives together, one mindful moment at a time. See you next week.